Next question, Dutch Liam 84. How many times a week do you put a shrimp on the barbie? Well, we actually call them prawns here in Australia, and I would have to say 0 because I prefer them raw. They're much juicier and with more flavour. And they're very expensive, so I don't eat them a lot. Probably about 5 times a year, although at Christmas time Australians do have a seafood tradition in which we stuff ourselves with as much sea creatures as possible. So during Christmas time I'll eat a lot of shrimps. Now this question's a really hard one, I had to think about this. FatCat444 asks, what is your all-time favourite song? Now, I have lots of favourite songs, but I think if I had to listen to one song on repeat for the rest of my life, which would be very cruel anyway, it would have to be Phil Collins' Coming in the Air Tonight. I don't know why, but the drums and just the crescendo build-up, I really enjoy it. So ask me in a week's time and I'll probably have another answer for you, but at the moment I've never pressed next if it comes up on shuffle, so I think that's a good indicator of one of my favourite songs. That's so nerdy. Next question comes from Chilling with Zombies. Who is your favourite serial killer? Now, I knew the answer to this straight away because I think it's hilarious. Not the question, my favourite serial killer. The BTK killer is my favourite serial killer, not because of his methods or how he killed or anything like that. It was how he was caught. It makes me laugh every single time. And it reminds me of my dad. Not because my dad's a serial killer. But BTK was caught by the police when he decided to ask the police whether they could track where he uploaded his floppy disk from. Now, obviously, this was a while back when floppy disks were used. Of course, the police said, no, of course we can't track back to where you uploaded your floppy disk. So he goes, oh, okay then. So he uploaded all these photos and information about his kills, you know, just to tease the police. And he sent it to the police. And I can imagine them just sitting there going, how stupid are you? Of course they tracked it back to the computer that he used, which was a computer at his local church where he was a pastor or one of the main church leaders. But I love the fact that regardless of how evil and how much of a evil serial killer he was, he still had a dad knowledge of how computers work, and to trust the police in saying, will you be able to track this back to me? Of course they're not going to tell you the truth. So he's my favourite serial killer because he was caught in such a stupid and daddish kind of way. When I read his, like the story of how he was caught, I couldn't stop laughing, and he's become one of my favourite people in the world, only because of how stupid and hilarious he was. So yeah, the BTK killer is my favourite due to that reason. Next question is from Peeing Rainbows. What are the top 5 things you find most attractive in a guy? Now, I don't know whether Peeing Rainbows meant physical attractiveness or just general attractiveness, so I'm going to put them both together. Number 1 is intelligence. I don't think I could be with a guy that didn't read often or couldn't spell. I know it's very shallow, but I do value those things quite highly. I would love to be with someone who is way more intelligent than me because I love to learn from people. So yeah, number 1 is definitely intelligence. Number 2 is a cliche sense of humour, because, and an especially dark sense of humour, because I tend to make a lot of dark jokes that people may find offensive, but I'd need my guy to not want to have a cry every time I make a dead baby joke. Number 2, I would have to say that he would have to have the same political / moral / general ideas about life as me. I don't think I could be with someone who is highly religious. because I'd find it hard to respect their opinion as much as I would like to respect my partner's opinion. Number 4, I suppose they'd have to be very much their own person. I'm not a clingy type, and I wouldn't want my partner to be clingy either, because I need my own space and I love my own company. So I'd need to be able to tell him to piss off for a week, and which I know is a lot to ask. I think I need like a part-time boyfriend or something. So yeah, someone who is very happy in themselves and doesn't need anyone else to constantly validate their existence. And number 5, I'll put physical attractiveness in, nice eyes, nice smile, nice hands. I'm a hand person. But looks are just a bonus to me. And I know that sounds very cliche and, oh, I don't care what you look like. But really, I really couldn't care less what you look like, because it's what's on the inside that counts. Right, next question is from Nathan Bake Studios. What are you planning on doing with your psych degree? I finished my psych degree in 6 months. I can't believe it. So I will have a degree in behavioural science in 6 months, which is pretty scary considering I'm not even 20 yet. After that, I want to do honours, and after that, I want to get my PhD in neuroscience, and after that, or maybe before that, haven't really figured it out yet, I would like to work with and study autistic/Asperger's children. I'm fascinated by the autistic mind. I think there's something brilliant about it, and I'd love to be able to help kids who are suffering from not being able to function socially within their family or group of friends, to learn methods that will help them in everyday life and make them happier and more well adjusted, whilst keeping that really unique beauty that I think autism has. So yeah, that's the ultimate plan. Not sure how fast or whether I will get there, but I'm working my butt off to get there. So hopefully I get into honours next year, so send good vibes my way. Next questions are from Renforth. Now, they ask 2 very deep and involved questions regarding the cosmological argument and Bible as evidence. I'm not going to go into that because I could ramble for hours and you don't want to listen to me ramble for hours, so I'll just answer the next questions. What does psychology say about crazy romantic love? Well, psychology says that it's very natural and that it's a great thing to help the human species survive and procreate. I personally have never been in crazy romantic love, so I can't say from experience, but from evidence and lots of readings that I do about it, there are lots of different really powerful hormones involved, like oxytocin, endorphins. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone, so it's what you feel when you're around loved ones, and it's what makes you think constantly of that person. Its main kind of function is to help people stay together, because obviously that was an evolutionary advantage if you were to create offspring, to keep you together to raise those offspring. Crazy romantic love, we haven't really found much great evidence about it. It's very much up in the air kind of thing, like how do you define love? We know what happens in the brain when someone is deeply in love with someone else, or when you show them pictures of their loved ones. All these neurons fire in certain parts of the brain, but we haven't really nailed down what these neurons do or why they're firing or anything like that. So that's a really interesting kind of psychology realm, which there's a lot of study going into, and I'm really interested in reading, because, you know, like, I could go out and fall in love, but why do that when you can stay home and read books? Next one is the Shinigami, but spelled with ones, so I don't know whether I should say the shit one, nut one, gam one. Anyway, what is your favourite movie and what is your favourite book? Okay, Favourite movie? I would probably be a three-way tie between Snatch, Inglourious Basterds and Agora, which I only watched the other night and have slotted it in to my top 3 favourite movies. I'm actually thinking of doing a review of it because I found it so touching and incredible and great, and pretty much inspired me to be awesome. So they are my favourite movies. My favourite book. Now, a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but I really enjoyed Dan Brown's Angels and Demons. Now, I read it before the movie came out. I love the idea of the argument between science and God, and I love Dan Brown's book. Blech. I love Dan Brown's books. Anyway, I know they're trashy and blah blah blah, but I love them, and I can't help what my brain loves. So there you go, that's my favourite book. Next question is from Time of Wonder 2009. What psychology experiment do you wish you had invented instead of the person who did? I'm fascinated by the Milgram experiments that were done in the 1960s. If you don't know about them already, Milgram basically recruited a handful of men and told them that they were to press a button that would give more and more electric shocks to a person in the opposite room. Now, obviously, he didn't actually give them electric shocks. The person in the room was an actor. Whenever they got a question wrong, they had to shock the person until it went up to a lethal voltage. Now, this experiment was done regarding authority and submission, and whether one will follow authority, even if it means killing someone else. It's a fascinating experiment which has been repeated so many times and has gotten the same results every time. We are basically animals that will listen to authority figures regardless of the circumstances. So if you're really interested, look it up on Wikipedia or wherever. But yeah, I definitely would have wanted to be the person that thought of that experiment, even though in today's time it would be very unethical. Since you seem so dread serious all the time, what humours you? I hope I don't seem so serious all the time. I suppose I talk about serious issues. I'm actually a very unserious person. That's not even a word. I'm not serious at all. I take everything with a grain of salt, and I pretty much laugh all the time at everything. So everything humours me. Dark humour especially really gets to me. But yeah, I'll pretty much laugh at anything. So hopefully I don't seem too dread serious all the time. If you were reincarnated as a book, which one would you like to be? I don't know if I should take this question literally or not. I would love to be reincarnated as a beautiful book with gold lettering, but I don't know whether that's what you wanted me to say. Okay, next question. What historical crazy person, living or dead, would you like to psychoanalyze? I'd love to psychoanalyze the BTK killer, because I think he was hilarious and stupid and so clever with his crimes, yet so stupid with the way he was caught. Okay, last question from Dexter21380. Do you think that the atheist community should have a united view on certain things, except them not being theists? That's a really tough question, because you can group so many people into so many different groups. Like, you can group me into the group of students. Does that mean that all students have to agree on everything? No, of course not. I think people shouldn't be grouped to begin with. I mean, it's okay to call yourself an atheist, you are in that group, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone should have the same ideas about stuff. However, I do think that being an atheist comes with certain ideals and opinions that most people are united on. I don't think you can find many atheists who don't agree with gay marriage, who don't agree that religions should be taxed or anything like that. So there are certain things that come with being an atheist other than not believing in a deity or deities, but I don't think that it should be written in stone that because you're an atheist you have to believe in this or you have to believe in this cause. It's a really hard question to answer, but I think you shouldn't group yourself into too many groupings. You should just believe in what you believe or think what you think and not really be worried about whether your group thinks that that's acceptable or not. So that's about it with answering questions. I do realise I skipped a few. Some were a bit silly. I didn't really want to waste my breath on them. I know, how uppity of me. Some would have taken way too long to explain my answer, so I skipped them and I'll maybe answer them another time. Thank you to everyone who did ask questions, and thank you to everyone that has subscribed and that do watch my videos. I've said it before, but it started off as just like a little experiment to see, I don't know, the response, and it's kind of exploded into something that I didn't think would happen, and it's kind of become a really cool hobby of mine. So thank you again for watching, and thank you for commenting, regardless of your views. I don't care if you abuse me or you don't agree with me or you think I'm great or awesome. I want to hear what you have to say. Obviously ad hominem is a bit immature, but go ahead if that's what you feel like doing. If you're that passionate, or you just want to say, lol, you're ugly, or lol, you're a woman, shut up, go back into the kitchen, make me a sandwich. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will be making some more videos soon. So thanks guys.